My friends, how are you? It is absolutely fantastic to see you for yet another video. And we are reaching the point of Donald Trump's presidency where we are going to focus in a lot on the absolute economic destruction that he is causing. That is a thing that is important to me because as a blue-collar working man in America, I'd like it better if we didn't destroy the economy. It's also important to me because I have seen a bunch of dumb hicks that look like me that for some reason or another think that Donald Trump is good for the economy. And you hear it all the time, my friends. You're just, hey, why is it that you support Donald Trump? Well, I like him because he's good for the economy. And I don't know where they get this from. For one, we know that Donald Trump crashed the economy when he denied COVID and got 1 million Americans killed and got millions more laid off from their jobs. We know that Donald Trump has filed bankruptcy multiple times. We know that Donald Trump was born into money where he leveraged that money to steal more money from the working class Americans by having them come in and do work for him and then dragging them through the court system, making sure that they never got paid for the work that they did. We know that Donald Trump has repeatedly bankrupted casinos. We know that Donald Trump has bankrupted multiple businesses over his lifetime, and I cannot for the life of me, my friends, figure out how the fuck anybody looks at Donald Trump and says he is good for the economy. That doesn't make a goddamn bit of sense. So I knew this day was coming. I knew eventually we would get there and all of Donald Trump's economic policies would start to catch up to America. And we had to listen to 4 years of clueless lunatics whining about how Joe Biden ruined the economy, and now the tables have turned, my friends. This is no longer Joe Biden's economy. Everything that is happening now is 100% the result of the absolute stupidity of President Donald Trump. And I am going to hammer away at that as Donald Trump costs more and more Americans like myself their jobs and their livelihoods through his fucking stupidity. It is my duty, my friends, to make sure that I am speaking out on that, because we have ended up in this situation because people like me, people from my background, refused to speak up, even when they knew that everyone around them was full of shit. So I cannot sleep well at night, my friends, knowing that I chose to say nothing. So that's the reason we do this shit, all right? And I like getting some sleep. So a couple days ago, we covered some Nebraska farmers that are going out of business, losing their farm because of Donald Trump's, basically his immigration policy and his trade policy is bankrupting a lot of motherfuckers out there. And I will acknowledge that apparently I was bamboozled, my friends. One of the sources that I pointed to was, I guess, some sort of satire actor, this lady that claims to own a farm and claims to own a construction company and multiple businesses. And I don't know if she's just doing it for fun or sarcasm or satire or to be misleading. I'm not really sure, but she fooled the shit out of me, my friends. One of the ladies I pointed to apparently makes multiple videos like that. So I did get bamboozled on that one, and sometimes that fucking happens. The internet age, my friends. Sometimes you don't know necessarily what you're looking at. But my points still very much stand on what I was saying in that video, as a lot of Nebraska farmers and farmers all over America are losing their asses right now on Donald Trump's policies, and we're going to get into that a little bit more today about why that's happening, why they should have seen it coming, what JD Vance expects to gain out of this, and all kinds of bullshit that we keep going over and over again on this channel. Hey, we got to hammer the same points over and over. Eventually, someone will fucking start listening. So, yes, we have got farmers in a very shitty situation. When I covered that, and yes, a lot of them do deserve it. They voted for Donald Trump. It's kind of their own goddamn fault at this point. But when I covered that, you guys know how MAGA dorks are really dumb. Have you guys ever encountered that? Like somebody with a MAGA hat is not very intelligent. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know if I'm just talking out of my ass right now. But I did get confronted by a MAGA dork on the last video that claimed that I am full of shit because he challenged me. He said, name one time Donald Trump screwed the farmers in his previous administration. Okay, what are we throwing me just fucking fastballs right down the middle here? What are we doing? That's about the easiest shit ever. Donald Trump fucked the farmers in his first term because of his tariffs having to do with China and soybean farmers especially, but farmers all over America had to be bailed out by the federal government due to Donald Trump's poor economic policy then. It happened the first time around. And when I confronted him with that, he said, well, Joe Biden sniffs children's hair. That was his fucking response to what I was saying. These people live in a fucking fantasy land, my friends. But yes, you should have known through Donald Trump's poor trade policy in his first administration that if you're a farmer, he was going to completely fuck you over this time. He went on and on about the tariffs and how he was going to implement the tariffs, and they were gonna they make America first somehow. That doesn't make a goddamn bit of sense. In a global economy, tariffing the shit out of your own people to make America first. Yeah, that lost on me, my friends. I'm not sure I fucking understand. Of course we know that all of that shit is going on, right? With the tariffs that are causing these trade wars. I don't know if I said that right, but the trade wars that are going on, my friends, have caused other countries to start to look elsewhere for their product. Now, one thing I did know quite a while ago was that China was looking to Brazil for corn. Apparently China uses a lot of corn for feeding their livestock. That's one of the biggest reasons that they need it. And they got apparently they don't grow enough corn, so they still have to import so they can continue to feed their livestock and continue to feed their people. China used to lean on America to do that until Donald Trump started these bullshit trade wars, and then they started looking to Brazil. One thing I didn't know, and I do admittedly need to do some more research on it, but I did catch a couple videos explaining that apparently Canada knew this was coming and started readjusting their corn supply something like 5 fucking years ago to get ahead of the curve on this and make the adjustments they need to do, so that Canada allegedly, okay, like I said, I need to do a little bit more research, but apparently Canada has become a pretty good trade partner with China when it comes to corn. And they have completely cut America out of the fucking picture at this point. Not completely, but there's just not any reliance anymore on America's corn going to countries like China, Brazil, and Canada. Australia's come in some ways. I think they were more beef. There's so much going on, my friends, it's hard to keep up with. And you know I don't take no fucking notes. We just hope for the best on this channel, don't we? But anyways, all these other countries have been become good trade partners to each other in the face of Donald Trump's trade wars. And that has completely fucked the American farmer, my friend. But it gets worse. Don't worry, we've got a few more fucking things to talk about. Obviously the immigration policy, and this is one of the most baffling fucking things I have ever seen in my life, my friends. The voters of Donald Trump listened to Donald Trump as he demonized everybody from different countries that came to America to come to work. Now, I don't know the immigration status of everybody that comes to America. There is a portion that are here legally, work visas, even citizens that came from other countries, shit like that. And yes, there are a portion here that are in America illegally, right? That is a fucking thing. But they listened as this entire group was demonized, told that they're evil, they're murderers, they're gonna kill you, they're drug dealers, all these fucking things. And the rural America came out in fucking droves, in numbers, my friends, to vote for Donald Trump to implement the said policies. The said policies being tariffs, and tough immigration policies, okay? Now that those things are in place, they fucking can't sell their fucking corn, my friends. They don't have the labor force to go out and work the fields for them. And think of all the other absolutely fucking destructive things Donald Trump has done when it comes to America's farmers. Well, he claims to love America's farmers. To the farmers out there, this is what's known as an abusive relationship, all right? Yes, he tells you he loves you and how much he cares about you, and then when no one's looking, well, we're all looking, we're all paying attention, but he slaps the living shit out of you every time he gets a chance. And then he goes, I love you, and you go, I know. And you know what, I'm gonna stop with that because I don't know everybody's life story, and I might actually be triggering people with that, so I apologize if I went a little too far with that analogy. I probably shouldn't have went that far. Sometimes shit just comes out of my mouth, so I apologize. People are in shitty situations out there, and now I feel bad. Now I fucking feel bad that I went that deep into that. Anyways, it's a bad situation, and we'll just keep rolling through that. So, what am I trying to think? You can see I threw myself off my game a little bit there, right? Anyways, there's other things at play here that are causing these issues. Of course, USAID. USAID was a way for farmers to sell their product to the federal government, who then used that product to feed people in other countries that were starving, giving America sort of a soft power sort of influence over different regions of the world. Hey, America's not so bad. They're feeding us. They take care of us, which is always a good thing, you know. And they stopped doing that. They just cut that shit off. But they weren't done. They weren't content with starving children in other countries. They said, fucking school lunches? I'm sick of these freeloading children living in this fucking country. Get a job, you bum. And they said, we don't want fucking school lunches for kids anymore, because I always go back to, what would Jesus do? And starve the children, of course. That's what Jesus said, starve the children. I remember it. You guys remember? I don't remember. Anyways, the school lunch program was a huge fucking benefit to farmers, because they were able to sell their product to the school system. SNAP, WIC, all these things were subsidies to the fucking farmers of America. And farmers came out, my friends, and they said, tariff the fuck out of us. They said, get rid of our workforce and get rid of all the fucking programs that the federal government uses to buy our product and keep us profitable, because we want starving children in this country. That must be what they said. I don't fucking know, because that's where the fuck we're at. And it is scary. It is a scary thing, because I don't think that we want the federal government or foreign investors to take over the entire farming system in America. And I've had some good commenters say, yes, you never want the government to control the food. And if I were to dive deeper into that, I'd probably understand the whole scenario a little bit more. But me being from the country, to me, it's just tragic to watch people that have had these farms in their generations in their family to have be losing that, even though they voted to fucking lose that. And I had someone say, what is your problem? Why are you so worried about if the government controls all the farms? We'll still have food. And yeah, in theory, I guess we would, but we also have to keep in mind, like, I don't understand the MAGA mentality is what I'm trying to say. These are people that said they want the government out of their business. They want smaller government. They wanted to buck the system. They voted for Donald Trump. And then as soon as Donald Trump uses tariffs and immigration policies and all these things to fuck the shit out of our farmers, then they go, oh, I'm all for the government owning the farms. Like, why are you making such a big deal out of this? With it being like a vindictive, hateful government, they would cut me off from food pretty quick, and I get hungry, so that bothers me. It's much deeper than that, though. But on top of that, my friends, here's the really interesting thing that I learned in my research today. Is apparently the world is making a push to get away from GMOs, genetically modified food. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know a whole fucking lot about what that means. It means that it is modified in some way or another to maybe produce, I don't know, more yields, a bigger product, something like that. And the other countries are doing quite the fucking opposite of what America is doing. Basically, in America, we eat fucking slop, my friends. We don't know what it is. Like, it's not, most of what we eat isn't fucking food. It's chemicals. It's all these things you can't fucking pronounce. We don't have a goddamn clue what it is, and we can't figure out at the same time why there's like an obesity epidemic in America. There was years ago the pink slime. I don't want to like be slanderous or anything. I don't know if it was McDonald's or some other fast food chain that was basically had a pink chicken slime that was how they made their McNuggets or something, their chicken nuggets, and nobody knew what the fuck it was, and we just go there and they deep fry it, and it's deep fried pink slime at that point, and we shove it in our fucking mouths. And the rest of the world has moved towards a society where they provide healthcare for their citizens. Novel concept, right? And they are worried about the food that they actually feed their citizens being real food. instead of burger buns made out of cardboard, which that was a thing too, if I remember correctly. Like there were like mashed down cardboard that they were turning into burger buns. We eat the trash here in America, my friends. They're talking about eating the dogs and the cats. That would be a step up from what the fuck they're feeding us. So all these other countries are making pushes towards healthier citizens and eating real food, healthcare, and all those things. And since America is just this like genetically modified slop chemicals that we just shove in our fucking mouths, they don't even want our product anymore. They don't want it. And that's a very, very fucking interesting thing now, isn't it? And that's sort of, God, that's America. That just explains America right there. We didn't necessarily want to feed our population for the purpose of having a healthy, productive population. We wanted to feed our population the most horrific shit that you've ever heard of that we can smash together for cheap as hell, present it as food, and make huge fucking profits off of this thing that we're calling food. It's always, for as long as I've been alive, my friends, it's been profits over people for the entire fucking time. And that's why we don't live so long here in America. They're killing us, my friends. They're getting rid of our asses. And then, that's fine. I had a good run. Like, I mean, I'm tired and I feel old, you know? So, I mean, whatever. Just feed me some of that pink slime. Let's get this shit over with. It's not a big deal. All these things coming together will absolutely destroy America's farmland, my friends, and it is going away. It's no longer profitable to be a farmer in America. Now, I understand that it hasn't been wildly profitable for a long fucking time, right? But Donald Trump just put the fucking dagger in the heart of the farming industry in America, and unless he turns it around right now and decides, oh, I'm a fucking idiot, which he's never going to do, then forget about it. Family farms are done. Oh yeah, and a couple other things. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, forgot to mention that earlier, and JD Vance's ties to Acre Trader is why this administration has so much interest in the farmers of America going bankrupt. With all that said, I'm hungry, my friends. I got some pink slime around here somewhere that's calling my name. I love you guys. Bye now.